There is one thing every fan despises more than losses on the scoreboard: squandering talent. And yet, instead of clarity, we get smokescreens, vague whispers, and quarterback rotations chaotic enough to make your head spin. Now, as one electrifying rookie continues to dominate camp with eye-catching stats, he may already be pushed out of contention. Not due to his performance, but because of something even more maddening: politics and poor process. The Browns still haven't publicly named their starting quarterback, but someone within the organization might already know. According to former NFL wide receiver TJ Houshmandzadeh, the battle has been quietly narrowed to Kenny Pickett or Dylan Gabriel. This bombshell, casually dropped on the Nightcap podcast, isn't just spicy gossip. It's a glimpse into the murky, behind-the-scenes maneuvering that may have already ruled out a fan favorite before the real competition even began. For Shedeur Sanders, the situation is as perplexing as it is infuriating. Reports say he's delivering strong numbers in practice, 7 completions on 9 attempts. But insiders question whether he's facing legitimate opposition. Is he threading needles against the starters, or just carving up practice squad players who'll be gone by preseason's end? At this point, it's not just a matter of accuracy, it's a matter of access. And if Shedeur isn't getting that opportunity, the issue may not lie in his arm, but in the system itself. That system, or perhaps the lack of structure entirely, is exactly what former NFL players like Houshmandzadeh and Darren Waller are openly criticizing. Their solution? Let each quarterback command the offense for a full day, uninterrupted, then rotate from there. Sounds straightforward, right? Yet somehow, implementing a clear plan in Cleveland remains more elusive than a playoff win in the 2000s. Let's not forget, Sanders wasn't some throwaway pick. At Colorado, he was sensational, throwing for over 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, and completing nearly 75% of his passes. So now the real question is this competition truly fair? Sound off in the comments below, hit that subscribe button, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another twist in this Browns quarterback roller coaster. Pair that with the worst turnover differential in the NFL, and you're staring at an offensive nightmare. Faith wasn't just fading, it was extinguished. But something shifted this offseason. No headline-chasing trades. Instead, the Browns recalibrated their approach, intentionally and intelligently. And that pivot began with Judkins. Riceland didn't sugarcoat it. "I think it's Judkins," he declared when asked which rookie would move the needle the most. And the reasoning is clear. Judkins isn't some volatile boom or bust wildcard. He's the embodiment of dependability. Across 3 seasons, spanning the brutal SEC and Big Ten, he consistently posted 1,000 plus yards and 14 plus touchdowns every single year. No off years, no drop off, just relentless production. But this isn't just about stat pad. Riceland keyed in on something subtle yet vital: dominating first down. It may not be a highlight reel moment, but gaining 4-6 yards on first down transforms everything. It unlocks the playbook. It puts defenses on their heels. And Judkins is built for that trench warfare. Even before fully digesting the Browns playbook, this 21-year-old is going to be manufacturing second and manageable scenarios. The lifeblood of sustained drive. Here's the kicker: Judkins might just be the heir apparent to Nick Chubb. Now hold on, that's not a statement made lightly. Chubb isn't merely a beloved player, he's the soul of Cleveland's offense, the physical manifestation of Brown's grit. But with injury clouds looming, the need for a reliable successor is urgent. Judkins isn't Chubb yet, but he's explosive, resilient, and hungry to prove he belongs. And he's not entering the backfield alone. Let's not overlook the Browns' 4th-round steal, Dylan Sampson. The Tennessee product logged a jaw-dropping 1,491 yards and 22 touchdowns last season. If deployed strategically, Stefanski could unleash a dynamic 2-headed rushing attack. Judkins as the tone setter, Sampson as the space exploiter. Now, picture this: a wide zone scheme finally running as it was intended. Judkins pounding defenses into submission, Sampson slicing through open lanes, mismatches everywhere, flexibility the Browns haven't had in years. This isn't just a rebuild, this is a reimagining. But here's where things get truly compelling, because all that offensive firepower could amount to absolutely nothing if the offensive line can't hold its ground. That's the unspoken crisis, the elephant in the locker room, and analyst Trevor Sikkema isn't mincing words. Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, both on the wrong side of 30 and both showing clear regression in their PFF grades. Ethan Pochik, the man in the middle, surrendered more pressures than he has in any season since his rookie year. Jack Conklin is playing for a new contract, and DeJuan Jones, the one they're hinging their right tackle hopes on, posted a sub-50 PFF grade last season. Let that sink in. This revamped offense, loaded with fresh weapons and theoretical upgrades, is still being shielded by a front five that gave up 66 sacks last year. That's not just a warning sign, that's a screaming alarm. If this line disintegrates, everything collapses. Tommy, the excitement around Judkins, Fannin, or the rookie quarterbacks, irrelevant. The offensive line will be either the launch pad for a new Browns era or the anchor that pulls it all back into darkness. And that takes us to the architect behind it all, General Manager Andrew Berry. This isn't hyperbole. His future in Cleveland rides on this draft class. The 2025 NFL Draft wasn't just another opportunity, it was a crucial career-defining moment. And Berry, his resume is checkered. While Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was his crown jewel, he's now out for the 2025 season with a significant neck injury. That puts the spotlight firmly on a new set of names: Quinshon Judkins, Mason Graham, and one of the rookie quarterbacks they must hit. Berry passed on generational talent Travis Hunter at no 2, instead gambling on Graham at no 5. Bold? Yes. Risky? Without question. But it underscores how desperately Berry is hunting for cornerstone players. Mason Graham has to dominate in the trenches. Judkins must energize the offense. And one of those quarterbacks? He needs to emerge as the guy. Let's not forget Harold Fannin Jr., a record-setting tight end who must now evolve into a consistent, explosive presence in a receiving core that's thin on experience and short on spark. So here we are, perched on the edge of what could be a franchise-defining season for the Cleveland Browns. A roster reinfused with youth, a fan base fueled by hope, a front office on the clock. This is no longer about raw talent. It's about execution, durability, leadership, and grit. And somehow it might all hinge on the hunger and heart of a 21-year-old running back, Quinshon Judkins, the unlikeliest hero Cleveland never knew it needed. So, what say you, Browns Nation? Is Judkins the future of this offense? Do you believe in Andrew Berry's vision, or are we staring down the barrel of yet another rebuild in disguise? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if you believe this team is building something real, and don't forget to subscribe for all the twists, turns, and touchdowns of this unfolding Browns saga. Because here's the truth, 2025 isn't just another season, it's the climax of a storyline that's been building for years. Every draft pick, every trade, every quarterback shuffle, it all comes to a head now, and no one feels that pressure more than Andrew Berry. After the Deshaun Watson blockbuster, a deal that some insiders are already whispering could go down as one of the worst trades in league history. Berry is on the brink. This isn't about building a better team anymore. It's about saving his job, about salvaging the future. Let's talk quarterbacks. Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, two high-profile rookies with polar opposite styles, both carrying immense potential but also immense risk. Let's be honest, rookie QBs rarely thrive behind shaky protection and identity crises. If either one flashes even a hint of long-term promise this season, that's a massive win. But if they both struggle, that no 2 overall pick in 2026 may be the final lifeline Berry has to get the quarterback situation right. And don't think ownership isn't watching. Jimmy Haslam made it clear at the league meetings back in March. This isn't about improvement. About results, it's about survival. The perception around Andrew Berry has evolved from young visionary to a general manager walking a tightrope with the abyss below. With 7 selections in this year's draft, he needs 3 minimum to become foundational players. Kenny Pickett, the understated, system-friendly signal caller, is emerging as the coaching staff's hand-picked choice, but fans and even some respected veterans are looking elsewhere. There's Joe Flacco, the seasoned warrior who reignited the team last year and remains the sentimental favorite. Then there's Shedeur Sanders, the rookie sensation whose name alone creates more media frenzy than a stat sheet for now. Speaking of headlines, remember Colin Cowherd? The same national voice who initially called Sanders a future franchise quarterback after Cleveland scooped him at pick 144. That hype didn't last long. After reports emerged of Sanders allegedly flying over 100 MPs in the 55 zone, Cowherd torched him on air. Not ready, immature, poor judgment. The takedown was swift, brutal, and public. But the real story? How fast he abandoned ship. Sanders is 23 years old, and whether you love him or hate him, let's be honest, Cleveland has tolerated far worse from quarterbacks over the last 20 years. Fans weren't silent either. He's 23. People make mistakes. You think we care about a speeding ticket after what we've endured for 2 decades? That's the vibe right now in Cleveland. Burned, but not broken. Cautiously hopeful. Frustrated, yet faithful. But while the fan base debates if Sanders should start, the front office appears locked in on Kenny Pickett. Yes, Kenny Pickett. He's calm, dependable, unflashy, and he's being prepped as QB1, but if you think that decision is resonating with the dog pound, think again. Veteran reporter Mary Kay Cabot pulled no punches. They are trending toward Kenny Pickett starting, and that's not what Browns fans want to hear, and she's right. Pickett doesn't ignite crowds like Flacco's cannon arm. He doesn't carry the intrigue or charisma of Shedeur Sanders. If Pickett takes the first snap in week 1, his margin for error will be razor thin. 1 interception, 1 sloppy loss, and the Joe Flacco chants will echo through First Energy Stadium like thunder. Dan Labby laid it bare. Let's say Kenny Pickett is just okay and you're 1-3. How do you keep Myles Garrett happy? How do you keep Joel Bitonio engaged? Because those guys are looking over and seeing Joe Flacco sitting right there. That pressure, it's already building. That fracture, already forming. The 2025 Browns aren't just choosing a starting quarterback. They're picking a direction, a legacy. And right now, that choice threatens to divide the team before the first whistle blows. Thank you guys. See you next video. Attention diehard Cleveland Browns faithful. Breaking developments are shaking up the AFC North, and this could redefine the Browns' trajectory toward that long-awaited Super Bowl charge. We're not just talking minor shifts here. This is a full-on power realignment that could send a bitter division rival spiraling into chaos for seasons to come. And yes, you're hearing it here first, but before we dive in, if you bleed brown and orange, hit that subscribe button and become a vital part of this growing dog pound family. Let's hit 1,000 subscribers together and keep this fire burning. Let's break down what's really going on. If you've been following the NFL this offseason, and especially the ever-evolving saga in Berea, you already know things have been far from quiet. It's been a maelstrom of rumors, debates, and unexpected shakeups. But nothing, and I mean nothing, has generated more buzz than the Browns quarterback conundrum. This isn't just a personnel discussion. It's a defining moment, a crossroads that could determine not only the fate of this season, but the next 5 years of Browns football. Cleveland has been wandering the quarterback wilderness since the end of the Baker Mayfield era. The Deshaun Watson experiment brought headlines, but also headaches, and now the Browns are in search mode again, hunting for the leader who can command the huddle and carry this franchise into January football and beyond. A crowded and complicated QB room. This year's quarterback room, the puzzle of potential and uncertainty. Joe Flacco, the seasoned veteran, brings poise and pedigree, but at this stage in his career, he's more of a bridge than a builder. His ceiling is capped, his best years behind him. Leadership? Yes. Long-term answer? Not likely. Then there's Dillon Gabriel. Raw, electric, and full of upside. He's a project QB, a high upside investment that could bloom if developed properly. And of course, Shedeur Sanders. The name alone turns heads. The son of Dion, the college phenom with charisma, arm talent, and swagger. But he's still green, not quite ready to be handed the kingdom keys just yet. What we have here, folks, is experimentation mode. The Browns are mixing ingredients, trying to find the secret sauce that could finally deliver a Lombardi trophy to Cleveland. But here's where things get spicy. Amid this quarterback shuffle, a shocking storyline is emerging, one that could rock the AFC North. We're talking about none other than Kenny Pickett, the Pittsburgh Steelers' second-year quarterback. Yes, the same Steelers that have long been a thorn in the Browns' side. Pickett showed glimpses of promise last season, but he's still far from a finished product. In fact, according to former Browns great Hanford Dixon, it might be premature to even name Pickett the Week 1 starter. Dixon's take: the Steelers are in flux, still unsure whether Pickett can rise to the challenge or if another signal caller will step in. And let's be honest, Pittsburgh's current roster isn't exactly built to cushion a struggling QB. The offensive line has holes, and their receiving core is in transition. Why this matters for Cleveland if the Steelers falter at QB? If Pickett can't take that leap, then the Browns stand to benefit massively. A weakened rival opens the door for Cleveland to seize control of the division, flip the script, and chart a new era of dominance. The AFC North has long been a battleground of grit, defense, and clutch quarterback play. But now, the tectonic plates are shifting. The Browns don't just have an opportunity, they have a window. And if they find their guy under center before Pittsburgh does, it could be game over. So buckle up, Browns Nation, because this isn't just an offseason storyline, it's the beginning of a power shift. Sound off in the comments, who do you think should be Cleveland's QB1? Will Shedeur shine early? Will Flacco surprise us? Or is a blockbuster trade still on the table? Smash that like, share with your fellow Dog Pound diehards, and stay locked in, because this season, everything's on the line. Calling all devoted Cleveland Browns fans, something monumental is stirring in the AFC North, and it could shift the balance of power in a way that redefines the Browns' playoff destiny. With the Steelers' quarterback situation hanging in the balance, opportunities are opening up for Cleveland's elite defense to dominate, and for the offense to exploit a rival that may be more vulnerable than it appears. But make no mistake, it's not just about Pittsburgh. Cleveland's own quarterback saga is heating up, and it may be the single most decisive storyline of the season. Let's break it all down. The Browns' QB room, a high-stakes chessboard. The Browns aren't exactly stacked with superstar options under center. Yes, Joe Flacco brings experience and playoff pedigree, but let's be real. He's no longer a Super Bowl caliber starter. At this stage in his career, he's a steady hand at best, not a long-term solution. The real buzz? It's starting to orbit someone else entirely. So before we dive in, smash that like button and subscribe for more insider breakdowns you won't hear on mainstream media. Now, here's a name not yet lighting up fantasy boards or plastered across billboards, but maybe it should be. Quinshon Judkins. And if analyst Lance Reisland is on the money, Judkins could be the ignition Browns fans have desperately craved, even if they didn't know it. But let's rewind. Cleveland's offense was historically dreadful last season, averaging just 15.2 points per game, dead last in the league. That's not just subpar, that's record-setting futility. Pair that with the worst turnover differential in the NFL, and you're staring at an offensive nightmare. Faith wasn't just fading, it was extinguished. But something shifted this offseason. No flashy free agent signings, no headline-chasing trades. Instead, the Browns recalibrated their approach intentionally and intelligently, and that pivot began with Judkins. Reisland didn't sugarcoat it. I think it's Judkins, he declared when asked which rookie would move the needle the most. And the reasoning is clear. Judkins isn't some volatile boomer bust wild card. He's the embodiment of dependability. Across 3 seasons spanning the brutal SEC and Big Ten, he consistently posted 1,000 plus yards and 14 plus touchdowns every single year. No off years, no drop off, just relentless production. But this isn't just about stat padding. Reisland keyed in on something subtle yet vital. Dominating first down may not be a highlight reel moment, but gaining 4 or 6 yards on first down transforms everything. It unlocks the playbook. It puts defenses on their heels. And Judkins is built for that trench warfare. Even before fully digesting the Browns playbook, this 21-year-old is going to be manufacturing second and manageable scenarios, the lifeblood of sustained drives. And here's the kicker. Judkins might just be the heir apparent to Nick Chubb. Now, hold on. That's not a statement made lightly. Chubb isn't merely a beloved player. He's the soul of Cleveland's offense, the physical manifestation of Browns' grit. But with injury clouds looming, the need for a reliable successor is urgent. Judkins isn't Chubb yet, but he's explosive, resilient, and hungry to prove he belongs. And he's not entering the backfield alone. Let's not overlook the Browns' 4th-round steal, Dylan Sampson. The Tennessee product logged a jaw-dropping 1,491 yards and 22 touchdowns last season. If deployed strategically, Stefanski could unleash a dynamic two-headed rushing attack, Judkins as the tone setter, Sampson as the space exploiter. Now picture this, a wide zone scheme finally running as it was intended. Judkins pounding defenses into submission, Sampson slicing through open lanes, mismatches everywhere, flexibility the Browns haven't had in years. This isn't just a rebuild, this is a reimagining. But here's where things get truly compelling, because all that offensive firepower could amount to absolutely nothing if the offensive line can't hold its ground. That's the unspoken crisis, the elephant in the locker room, and analyst Trevor Sikkema isn't mincing words, Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, both on the wrong side of 30 and both showing clear regression in their PFF grades. Ethan Pochchick, the man in the middle, surrendered more pressures than he has in any season since his rookie year. Jack Conklin is playing for a new contract, and DeJuan Jones, the one they're hinging their right tackle hopes on, posted a sub-50 PFF grade last season. Let that sink in. This revamped offense, loaded with fresh weapons and theoretical upgrades, is still being shielded by a front five that gave up 66 sacks last year. That's not just a warning sign. That's a screaming alarm. If this line disintegrates, everything collapses.